What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports back again with another one. Michael Coppinger of The Athletic is reporting that Sergey Kovalev, former light heavyweight champion, is slated to take on Sullivan Barrera. It's going to go down in Indio, California on DAZN, April 25th. The co-main event is going to be Patrick Texiera will defend his WBO junior middleweight title against Brian Castano in a good matchup. You got Golden Boy going against the PBC. Golden Boy, who represents Patrick Texiera, going against PBC, who represents Brian Castano. That's going to be an exciting fight. I'm actually looking forward to that fight more than the main event. But let's quickly talk about the main event right quick. Sergey Kovalev trying to get a win off the last performance when he lost to Canelo Alvarez. He was knocked out in that fight. Early on in that fight, he was actually controlling the fight, in my opinion, with the jab, but he wasn't really doing nothing else but just kind of keeping Canelo Alvarez at bay with the jab, but wasn't able to follow it up with anything. I don't know if he was trying to pace himself and try to have some, to go down the stretch in that fight, because, he had kind of like a quick turnaround from his last fight, man. He fought a young lion from the UK in a tough match in Russia. I think in that 8th round, he took a pummeling, but he was able to come back and drop it and get the knockout and was able to win that fight. But he took a lot of punishment in that fight, especially in that 8th round. And he had kind of like a quick turnaround to come back in that Canelo Alvarez fight. And it kind of showed because he was not a fresh fighter going into that fight. Canelo Alvarez wasn't doing too much himself. You would have thought he took advantage of the situation a little early in the fight, but he was patient. And he was able to close the distance, and he was able to land the right hand. He was able to knock out Sergey Kovalev in devastating fashion in a fight that went down in T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, Sergey Kovalev has taken a break from that since that fight. He should be a little bit fresher going against a Sullivan Barrera, to me, who has been on the downside of his career. He started off very, very well, man. He was undefeated before he fought Andre Ward. And that was a fight that was supposedly a tune-up fight for Andre Ward, but when the fight was announced, it was like, nah, this guy's not a tune-up. This guy's a guy that's coming from that Cuban background, a very fundamentally sound fighter, and a lot of people thought he could give Andre Ward problems, but Andre Ward won the fight in a pretty devastating fashion, dominating fashion. I ain't gonna say devastating fashion. He didn't knock out Barrera, but he dominated that fight, and it wasn't really that close as he was able to pretty much do what Andre Ward does, man. He's able to box, grab, and kind of bogart his way to a comfortable decision, man. That's what he was able to do in that fight, man. Andre Ward is a skilled guy that knows how to fight on the inside, knows how to fight from a distance, knows how to close distance, knows how to fight rough and tumble type of fighter, man. He's from that Bernard Hopkins school of boxing, man. Just a tough, rugged, technical boxer. You don't see that too many times in a fighter when a guy is a good technical fighter but rugged, tough, and an inside fighter at the same time. Usually those two characteristics are not in a fight. If the guy's rugged and tough inside fighter, he's more of a brawler type, come forward type of fighter. Usually if a guy can box and technical with it and got skills, jab, combinations and stuff like that, he usually don't want to be trying to go to war with nobody, trying to fight inside that much, and they don't look to do those things. They look to stay on the outside and stay within range. But Andre Ward and Bernard Hopkins have shown, two fighters that I think in the history of boxing have shown that they can fight both styles and fight both styles effectively, and he was able to dominate Sullivan Barrera in that fight. So Sullivan Barrera is just one of those guys, man, that every time he gets into that elite level of a fight, he comes up short. Came up short against Andre Ward, came up short against Dimitri Bivol, came up short against, this was a crosswords fight. He fought Jesse Hart in a fight that it was a true 50-50 fight, but Jesse Hart was able to beat him in that decision. And he's pretty much on the downside of his career, man. He knocked out Joe Smith after he lost to Andre Ward, and that was a good win for him. And Joe Smith was the one who retired Bernard Hopkins, the guy that, got the 9-to-5 job and then becomes a boxer when he leaves work. He was able to drop and knock out Bernard Hopkins. Sullivan Barrera actually broke his jaw in that fight, and that's probably his best win of his career. He was able to keep the rough, rugged Joe Smith at bay. He was able to box, use his technical skills, and win a very comfortable decision over Joe Smith, man. Joe Smith showed a lot of heart, man, fighting through a broken jaw and everything, but that fight clearly was won by Sullivan Barrera. So it should be a win for Sergey Kovalev, because I just think Sullivan Barrera is just on the downside of his career. He's seen his better days. So I'm looking for Sergey Kovalev. He's got anything left. I'm not sure he's seen his better days too, but I just think he's a little bit more fresher than Sullivan Barrera. But basically, you're looking at two guys that's on the downside of their career. But I just think Kovalev has shown to be a more high caliber of a fighter than Sullivan Barrera has been. So if both guys are kind of on the downside of their career, the guy that was known to have the high caliber of a fighter in Sergey Kovalev over Sullivan Barrera should have the edge, even though both guys are, like I said, on the downside of their career and no longer able to win at a high level. Barrera never could do it, and Kovalev, and I don't think he can do it at this point of his career. But it's going to be an interesting crossroads fight. We'll see what happens. We'll see what transpires. As far as the co-main event, going to be a good fight. I'm looking forward to this, man. Patrick Texiera, man, came out of nowhere, was able to become the WBO 154-pound champion. A guy that was never a high prospect coming up. Nobody thought he was one of those can't-miss prospects, man. But through hard work and determination, man, the guy's become a world champion at junior middleweight. The guy's got a lot of heart. He's not pretty out there, but he gets the job done. And he's going to go against Brian Castano, man. Brian Castano is a crowd favorite, crowd pleaser. Very exciting offensive fighter, going to bring the heat. Looking to, cut the ring off, put the pressure on you, and make it a fan-friendly fight, man. Throwing a lot of punches, man. Good body puncher. Throws good combinations. He's just a guy that comes forward with pressure, but it's responsible pressure. It's not reckless pressure. He comes forward, but he doesn't. Some guys come forward and they like, I'm just gonna come forward. I'm gonna take two to land my one, and I think I'm the harder hitter, and I'll eventually be able to get to you. But Brian Castano's not like that, man. He's a good pressure fighter, but he's not just coming in reckless though. But as you know, when you do coming forward and you're throwing a lot of punches, you are going to get hit, man. That's just how it works in boxing. But he's not reckless with it. So it should be a real good fight going down. I'm actually looking forward to that fight more than the Kovalev-Barrera fight, because I just don't see that. Whoever wins that fight, which I think is going to be Kovalev, I don't think Kovalev is now a big player in the light heavyweight division. I don't see him beating Bertabiev or Bivol or nobody like that. I don't think he can beat Badu Jack right now. I don't see him beating them guys right now, man. So I just think he's on the downside of his career. So I just think this fight here with Castano to Texiera, whoever wins that, could be looking at big fights coming up with Jason Rosario. You still got J-Rock Williams. You got the man who I think is number one at 154 pounds, Jermell Charlo. You still got Tony Harrison out there. So they got some good fights for the winner of that fight. That's going to be the co-main event. So very much looking forward to that fight, man. But just a quick breakdown for those two fights, man. I didn't give you my prediction on the co-main event, but I think Brian Castano is going to win that fight, man. I think the pressure is going to eventually get to the taller, longer Patrick Texiera, who's I don't think has the skills or the person that knows how to control range when you find a pressure fighter, the jab. I don't think his jab is consistent enough to keep Brian Castano up off him. And I think Brian Castano will eventually get to him and overwhelm him with the pressure and the volume of punches, man. I'm looking for him to win. I don't think it'll be a knockout, but I'm looking for Brian Castano to win a decision over Patrick Texiera to become the new 154-pound WBO champion. And that'll be another title for Al Heyman and PBC. And then you can start thinking about matching him up again with Jason Rosario, J-Rock Williams, the number one guy at 154 in my opinion, Jermell Charlo. Tony Harrison can be there. You still got Adriana Lara. You can do a rematch with him. If you're Brian Castano, the first fight was very fan-friendly, good fight. And, Lara can always box. He's always in a competitive fight. He never gets dominated when he's fighting at the elite level. So that could be a good rematch fight. So doors are going to be open for whoever wins that fight for big money fights for because that's a loaded division. Underrated division, but loaded division, 154 pounds, junior middleweight division. We'll see what happens. We'll see what transpires, man. Leave your comments in the comment section. Who you like in these two upcoming fights? Kovalev versus Barrera and Texiera versus Castano. Who you like? Would you like about decision or knockout? Pick your winner and let me know how you think the outcome going to play out. This is JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. I holla.